Hello guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to make a case for the Ottawa Senators and why they should rebuild and why they should just scrap this whole thing. It's getting pretty ridiculous how bad they're underperforming, and it's really showing. The Ottawa Senators are 9-12 and 7, 7th in the Atlantic Division. Now I've already made a video on why they are underperforming. You could probably just go watch that. It's a couple weeks behind in the videos category. But you'll get there. But I already made a video on why they're underperforming, and they're still underperforming, so that video is still relevant, and a lot of the points are still valid. They're still underperforming in the ways that they were underperforming back a couple weeks ago, and they're not getting any better. In fact, I think it's gotten worse. Back a couple of weeks ago, Karlsson was still scoring point per game. He was doing fantastic still, and there was guys like Stone who were still doing fantastic, but now Karlsson is on the drought, and he had, I think it was like a 9-game point drought. And then he got away from that I think it was a couple of games ago. He finally was able to get a point when Duchesne got the goal. But that was just an unacceptable stretch of nothing from Karlsson, and they're now getting shut out in two straight games. I'm pretty sure, which is just ridiculous. I think it's two straight games. I think they had the overtime loss against the Kings, and I think the last game they got shut out against the San Jose Sharks, which is just pitiful. I know that the Sharks are the best defensive team in the league. I'll give you some slack there. That isn't a bit of an excuse there, but you gotta score some goals, right? Besides guys like Hoffman and Stone, and even Karlsson too, a tiny bit of a point there. The rest of the team is struggling mightily. There's loads of players that should be scoring, but they just aren't, and that's really just a big problem for them. I think that they're one of the worst teams in depth scoring, in my eyes, in my opinion. And they got guys like Stone who are pointing per game, and then you got Hoffman who are doing quite well as well. But nobody else is really scoring for them. Nobody on the defense is doing anything at all. They're doing pretty terrible. I mean, Shabbat is the only person that's actually doing anything. And it's a major problem that the Senators have to just think about getting from, and they need to fix this. They need to fix this fast. And honestly, I don't see any other way but to fire the coach. Now, hear me out. I do like Graviteh. I do like him. He played a great trap game. He was able to get through the playoffs quite nicely. He made the right system for the playoffs, but I don't think that works quite in the regular season like it used to. They aren't scoring goals. They aren't letting in goals. And the thing is, last year, this team, the Ottawa Senators, could handle the trap game, and they played it well. This season, I don't think they have it. To play a good trap game, you have to be fantastic defensively, and their goaltender has to be fantastic. Anderson has not been that this season. He hasn't been good at all. And Condon isn't bailing him out at all either. So you have two goaltenders who aren't doing well in any respect of the game, and then you got the defense who isn't doing bad. It's just catastrophically bad defense. It's not helping anything, and the trap game just isn't going to work for this team. So if your defense and your goaltending isn't working for the trap, you certainly aren't going to score goals on the trap. You have to have good defensively. You can't rely on your offense on the trap, that's for sure, because that's just not how it works. You have to rely on your defense, and the defense is doing anything. It just isn't doing anything, and you have to score some goals as well. You have to get lucky in that retrospect, but you have to play defense if you're going to go to the trap, and I don't think that Graviteh is going to work. I don't think that it's working to this point. I think it's the right time to fire him. He'll probably be the first coach to be fired. Maybe even, it's the guy in Edmonton, I can't remember his name. But I'd say that those two are the front liners to get fired. But I don't know. It just isn't working out for them, and I don't see it working out this season. I don't see it turning around if they keep him. I just don't see it. Now, if they were going to go into a rebuild, which I am answering the question in this video, they have lots of pieces that they could trade. They got Stone, they got Hoffman, they got Karlsson. Of course, you got Karlsson, who will get a massive haul. You got guys who could generate interest. Again, if we're going for a rebuild, you're going to trade Duchesne, which you just got for a first-round pick, who you might have to give up if you aren't making the playoffs, which is just ridiculous. You got Brazard, who could get a little bit, but I don't know if too much. He'll get too much. But they got lots of contracts that are like dead weight on this team. Imagine if they didn't have the Phaneuf contract, or they didn't have the Bobby Ryan contract, or they didn't have the Clark MacArthur contract. This team could have a lot of pieces that would be great for this team, but they're not because of these bad contracts, and I think that's been some bad decisions by the GM. Those pieces I don't see you trading, but you could definitely get something for the guys again, like Carlson, Hoffman, Duchesne, Stone. But I think it would be the right time to rebuild just because that the team isn't working out. But I could definitely see a coaching change being in order and fixing this team. It could definitely help the team, and they might even make a comeback. I just don't see them getting anywhere with Guy Boucher right now. I don't think that the system was working, and I don't think that the team defensively is good enough for that. But if it has a coaching change, who knows what can happen. That works magic sometimes. Just look at the Blues. But, I could see them. I could see them keeping their players this season, getting a good pick this draft, and then going up for it again next year. So, who knows? Maybe they'll win the lottery and get Dolan. He goes right into that defense and plays fantastic. They could still be really competitive next season. Maybe this is just an off season for them. They go into next season and they do brilliant. That could definitely happen. NHL is wonky. It's not unpredictable, and that could definitely happen. But will it happen? I don't see it happening. Carlson says he wants to win in Ottawa. I don't think how likely that will actually end up happening. If they offer less than $10 million, I don't think Carlson will even bat an eye to Ottawa. He'll go somewhere else. So they're definitely in a tough situation here. Carlson is knocking on the door, and they're going to find something quick. And if Carlson doesn't re-sign, I think it will be the best decision overall to rebuild the team. Because at that point, you're losing basically your whole backbone of the team. And even though Carlson isn't the same this season, even though he hasn't been scoring at the same pace or he's been trash defensively, he still is Erik Karlsson, and he still is the backbone of that team. And when he's playing well, the team plays well, and when he's playing bad, the team plays bad. And that's definitely what's happening here. If Karlsson can somehow turn the thing around, if that foot stops nagging him, if he doesn't turn into another Peter Forsberg, or not Peter Forsberg, just another what if, another Bobby Orr, then I don't know. It'll just we'll have to wait and see. I wish it turns around for him, but I think that they need to give him some rest probably. But if not, trade him. If I was them, I'd keep guys like Stone and Hoffman. But I just say the rest of the team goes. And maybe you could wait it out, see if Craig Anderson gets better. But he's getting old. He's getting up there. I don't know if he's on the decline. He probably is at this point, sadly. So you probably want to look for a different goaltender. And the thing is, if he continues to go on the decline, if you keep having faith in him and he keeps declining, I don't know if it'll work out. I don't think it'll work out. And I think the last year was the year they couldn't get. They just barely couldn't get there. And it was just a thing where he was so close, but now he's just going to be declining, and I don't think that he has the stuff anymore, the talent anymore, and the athletic ability anymore. And that's sad. That's sad to see, but he's getting up there, and I don't know if he has it yet. I just don't know if he has it still. I think the Senators have made the best out of all these bad contracts, the best team that they could have last season, but it just hasn't worked out quite yet, especially this season. And these bad contracts with enough, I don't know why you would take that contract. Why would you take the Bobby Ryan contract, man? He was a lot of a better player back then when you got him. But that's just a way too stupid contract now. McCarver, 4.65, that's just abysmal. I know that he has been concussed and stuff like that, but I don't know if it was worth it then. I don't know if it was worth it now. Definitely isn't worth it now. But there's lots of contracts that you wouldn't want on your team. I don't know if they really think Phaneuf is worth $7 million on their team. He's not. I'm just saying he's not. But that was just there's lots of bad contracts on the team, and I don't know. They'll have to do something with those. A couple of those at least. Like Bobby Ryan to be at 40. I think he's at a 37-point pace, something like that. For a guy who's getting paid $7.25 million, that is abysmal. You do not want that. Unless he's really good defensively, which Ryan isn't, to my knowledge at least. It's not worth it. McCarver hasn't played that much, but he hasn't played all that well. Phaneuf is Phaneuf. He doesn't play that well in general. There's lots of bad contracts on the team that I just don't know if they can escape from. And the thing is, even though Ottawa Senators' future is looking a bit bleak right now, they still have quite a few good prospects in the pool. They had Chabot, who's up and coming. He's doing really well. They got quite a few prospects in the AHL, and they got quite a few coming up. They've pretty much stacked first-round picks, and a lot of them have been doing really well. these past few years, and those continue to come up. They got quite a few of them. You know, I don't know the prospect pool too good, but I know that there's quite a few ones that are looking to be pretty good NHLers in the future. So that's a pretty good bright spot for them. And if they could come out next year, maybe takes that next step and becomes like a top 2 defenseman, maybe offensively at least, and he does well. And then you got like Colin White, who could come up and do fantastic for them in the forward group for like a third liner or maybe even a second liner caliber type player. That could work wonders for them, and they could definitely use that. That's going to be it for today, guys. Guys, enjoy. Make sure to like. Tell me in the comments down below if the Ottawa Senators should rebuild or not. But subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.